headlamp. This is the only time I'm not mad about a little auto-tune. Your mind was doing a million fucking things. Getting perfect pitch was item number 10,678. Fucking great video, boys. I take exception to this. Fucking, you think I'm using auto-tune? It's Melodyne. It's episode 7 of Q and Trey, and I've got a little bit of an update for you. Saturday mornings suck. I think people just don't like watching videos on Saturday morning. You're busy watching cartoons, so I'm gonna start putting these out on Fridays instead. It's possible that this actually went up on a Friday morning, depending on whether or not I got it edited in time. So let's see what you had to say to me this week. Let's get squishy.
William F. Buckley Music 666. I largely agree with Trey here. Nobody in the real world gives a rat's ass about my paper music degree. However, the tools and skills I achieved while attending Berklee College of Music are immeasurable. The ear training theory and ensemble skills were key to my work today. I largely work as a gun for hire and can walk into any situation last minute and perform at a professional level.
What I think is noteworthy about this comment, aside from the fact that he agreed with me, which always feels nice, is that it kind of highlights a few of the different ways that you can look at learning music. What are you trying to get out of your music education? It took me a while to figure out that what I wanted was a holistic look at learning music, learning how to make music, not just how to play my instrument. Learning an instrument, learning songs, and learning music are three interconnected but kind of separate categories under the same heading. Getting really good at an instrument is not the same thing as becoming a really good musician. The two things are very strongly connected, and it will definitely help you to get there. But if you have no understanding of the music, no larger, broader understanding of the ins and outs of music, what you're going to wind up with is a lot of technical skill and not a lot of great music of your own. It definitely makes writing music way easier if you're good at least one instrument, but it's not really a requirement. So before you actually invest your time and money and effort and all of this into your musical education, think about what it is that you're trying to get out of it. Don't just take a bunch of guitar lessons and think that you're going to learn about songwriting. And if all you want to do is play and you don't care about writing music, you don't care about composing, you don't care about theory, don't waste your time with the theory and ear training and all of that stuff. Just learn your instrument. Mathisto 21, metal songwriter reacts to Ghost. Who are you trying to kid, mate? You're a mediocre YouTuber at best, now passing judgment and critique on bands that you could only dream of even being included in the road crew for. Okay, good luck with that one, self-proclaimed metal songwriter savant. On bands that you could only dream of even being what? I can see that this guy is subscribed to me, so he thought all of this about me and still hit the subscribe button. Thanks. It's not that fucking complicated, bro. I write metal songs. Therefore, I'm a metal songwriter. I never said I was any good. I'll leave that up to you to decide. There's not like a committee that meets and bestows the title of songwriter upon you. If you write songs, you're a songwriter. Period. Eyeball rumor. If you haven't checked out the band In Virtue, they are pretty darn good. Well, you could check them out when their new album comes out this year. If you want to sign up to get notified for that, I put the link in the description. Viera Desu. But is the academic knowledge worth the money compared to a couple hundred in books and some experience self-producing? So last week I said the actual degree isn't worth anything, but the knowledge that I got is. And so what they're asking is whether or not you can kind of hack together this same amount of knowledge on your own. That's going to depend very largely on your learning style. I think that even if you're reading a lot of books on theory and ear training and orchestration, whatever it is that you want to learn about, you need to be applying it all the time, because talking and reading and writing about music is so conceptually weird. If you're not applying it, none of it is going to make any sense at all. I personally had to have things explained in a certain way, demonstrated, and have it walked through for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have grasped it in quite the same way. For example, when you're doing ear training, you have to sing everything all the time to really internalize it. And I needed someone with a lot of experience and a better ear than me to say like, oh no, that's not right. I will tell you for absolutely sure not to sleep on community college music courses though, because you can get all of the basic shit for way cheaper than going to Berklee or Juilliard or whatever. The most basic and important shit, theory and ear training, just go to your local community college that happens to have a music program or a few music courses in this and knock it all out. You definitely don't want to wind up in a weird echo chamber of your own brain.
Decade past. False. Just because you can do the job doesn't mean you'll get hired. Getting your foot in the door of the music industry and making a decent living is next to impossible. Getting a music degree, if you're not already rich, is insanely stupid. Music for 99% of people is just a hobby. Only 1% will make a real living at it. Sorry, but that's just the truth. The music industry is a tiny little club that most people will never break into. You might as well just spend your time on something else that will make you real money.
So this was in response to the last episode of Q and Trey when I said that if you can do the job in the music industry, they'll hire you. You don't need a degree. I didn't mean that they just hire you no matter what just because you can do the job. Like, obviously, there's the usual, like, vetting process where they'll talk to you and determine whether or not you're an asshole. I'll tell you the number one thing that has gotten me farther in the music industry than literally anything else, any of my other skills, no matter what. Being a good hang, not being fucking annoying, being easy to work with, being friendly, fun to be around, all of those things will get you way farther than anything else. Of course, you have to also have the skill, but it's not so much this club. It's more like a friends group. Like, yeah, you have to know people, but how do you know people? You just have to make friends. You're right that there is not a ton of money in many areas of the music industry, but there are tons and tons of different kinds of jobs that you can do. If your primary goal is to make money, stay the fuck away from the music industry. Yeah, of course you can do 100 million other things that will make you way more money with way less work. I don't know about you, but I don't do music to make money. I do music because I fucking have to. I'll tell you this much. All of the fucking money in the world would not make me happy if I couldn't make music. If I won $100 million in the lottery tomorrow, all I would do all day long is make music. And you know what I'm going to do tomorrow with $34.76 in my bank account? I'm going to make music all day. And now for this week's Duality of Man.
Let's go, UW. If nothing else, Ghost knows how to end an album. Absolutely love Ghost, but this album ends on a bit of a dud for me. Easily the worst finale of any Ghost album yet.
Wow. Jonathan Berry, 1420. I'm going to assume that you're related to Matt Berry, so I'm going to do my best Matt Berry voice.
Do you find your favorite melodies you've written are ones that just popped into your head? Or are they more from experimenting with chord shapes on instruments? I play piano and guitar, but am much more proficient in piano. Guitar is harder for me to visualize since piano has different shaped notes, etc. But I've noticed that even with my limited guitar skills, guitar melodies almost seem fundamentally different than piano or vocal melodies. Any tips to demystify that and make guitar melodies easier would be much appreciated.
So notes are notes and melodies are melodies, but where they come from and the instrument that they're going to be played on obviously informs a lot of how they're going to turn out. The main difference between the piano and the guitar for me is that the piano is incredibly intuitive. Low notes on the left, high notes on the right. You want to make a note, you push a button. The guitar is really cool because even though it's very counterintuitive, I think, there's so much redundancy on it. You can find the same note in so many different places that there's so many different ways to play the same thing. But this is why I like to write things a bunch of different ways. I like to write guitar melodies away from the guitar, either on a different instrument like the keyboard or plugging it in via MIDI or just singing it. Definitely some of my best stuff has just popped into my head, as you put it, when I'm away from the instrument and it's just, I'm just thinking music. Honestly, though, my best piece of advice for you is to kind of just stop thinking of them as guitar melodies. Stop thinking of them as being something separate from any other instrument. There's certain ways that you'll have to go about playing them, but just write melodies and then figure out how to play them on the guitar. You really don't want your music and your songs to be limited by the limitations of the instrument. You want to be able to think of the music as being, in a way, very separate from the instruments. All that to say that I don't think of them as being different at all, but I do have to find different ways of playing them. Another thing that's going to make it way easier for you to write and play melodies on the guitar is my course, Relationships 2, intervals, because when you can play and identify every interval on the guitar, you're going to have no trouble playing any kind of melody that you can come up with. And that's going to be real easy for you to learn to do, Jonathan Barry, because you are this week's winner and you have won the aforementioned course. An interval is just the musical distance between any two notes, and if you know what all of them sound like and how to play them on the guitar, everything gets way easier, and that's what I teach in my course. I feel like this is something that every guitarist needs because, like I said, the guitar is very counterintuitive. So congratulations, Jonathan Barry. DM me on Discord to claim your prize. And to anyone else who wants to learn all the intervals on the guitar in 60 minutes, that course is still going to be on sale. Hit the link in the description. Which brings us to this week's Q for Your A, in which I ask you a question and you answer in the comments section. Is music just a hobby for you, or is it something more? Doesn't mean that you have to make money off of it. Just, is it more important to you than just doing it for funsies? I want to know. Let me know in the comments section. Tell me a little bit about that, and you might be next week's winner. And the prize next week is going to be my third and final guitar course, which is called Exotic Sweep Arpeggios. And it's a collection of 60 different sweep arpeggio shapes that go beyond the usual Guitar Center sweeps that you hear, the same major, minor, and diminished arpeggios. Like this. Doesn't that just feel like you're flying? Next one is a major 7 sharp 5. Sounds pretty spicy. Check it out. So if you want to spice up your sweep arpeggios and do crazier and cooler ones than everybody else at Guitar Center, hit the link in the description for a special discount, and or just leave me a comment and you might be the winner. Gong Gang, what do you want to know? Leave your questions below. Ask me the big hard questions. I want to have like big brain shit that I can really dig my teeth into, you know? So leave me those big ass galaxy brain questions in the comments section and you might win my course, Exotic Sweep Arpeggios, next week. Stay squishy, and I'll see you real soon.